Good morning, everyone. Jimmy back here from Ziggy's Lawn and Landscape. Today we're going to be doing a 5-year review on the Walker mower. This model is the T23 Walker. It was purchased in 2017, brand new by us, so it is a one-owner mower, and we're going to run you through some reviews and some cuts today with it, and just kind of give you our opinion on it and how it's served us. The funny thing about it is that it just hit 1,500 hours today. I just got done cutting 2 lawns with this, and we just turned over 1,500 hours on this thing. So. What's up, everyone? Here's my Walker 48-inch mower. I bought this brand new in the spring of 2018. So we are going on the 5th season of this machine. You saw in the other videos that I bought a brand new one that goes with the main mowing crew. And I bought that one just for this peace of mind, for no breaking down, nothing failing during the day. And this thing is getting a little bit higher up in the hours. It clicked over to 1,500 hours today, which isn't a ton. Some people have more than that by now, but we'll take a quick walk around it and I'll show you what I've replaced and the different maintenance things. And what do you guys use? Do you guys like Walker mowers? How many of you guys run the machines? The pros and the cons, what do you guys think about them? So let me know in the comments. And some people can't get used to these things. That's their main concern. They're saying they're very awkward, but this seat, especially on the newer ones, they have more foam in it and it's very comfortable. And it's totally different than a zero-turn mower. There's tons of videos out there on how to drive this, but people get on and they go like this, and it doesn't do anything. Your speed's on the side, right here. So this controls your forward, and then this is your reverse. So this won't do anything. Once this is forward, back to neutral. But your forward, this will control your reverse and your turns. So once you get really good and comfortable with it, I like to have one hand here and one hand here, and if you're gonna open up, you don't even need this hand on here, it's just this one. So your parking brake is here, which is, sometimes these go, we'll show you underneath the cables for them. They move around the trailer once the cables go or whatever. Here's your manual engagement for the blades. Your instrument panel is over here. Your ignition switch to start it. Your throttle, your choke, and then just a couple sensors for the oil pressure and if it's overheating or whatnot. 1,503 hours. So today we put about 6 hours on this one, and I'd guess maybe 2 or 3 hours on the Toro. But this will give you a warning if your stator's not charging the battery. I did buy this with the headlights because when the time change happens in the fall and then in the spring, you can find yourself mowing parking lots at before 7 o'clock where there's no residential, so you flip the switch on and these are very, very bright LEDs, so these work very good. Or in the leaf season, when you lose the hour at the end of the day and it's getting dark, this still works. So that's, like you see, it's an out front mowing design, so your feet sit on the actual mower deck, which is a positive for some properties if you have to go underneath bushes and just around obstacles. And this is a bagging unit, so you can put a mulching deck on here for whatever properties, but this is perfect for pool areas where you don't want to put a grass flap on your standard mower, and you don't want to have to worry about grass clippings going anywhere. This thing bags everything underneath up the chute into the back hopper here. This is I think it's a 10.5, whatever the word is, 10.5 cubic feet or whatever bushel hopper for the grass, which is kind of full right now. So you dump it. Don't want it to all fall out. Your fuel tank has the gauge on it to tell you if it full, empty, or what your fuel level's at. This is a 23 horsepower Kohler command with the carburetor. It's not electronic fuel injection. This is the original engine in this machine. Then here's what's going on underneath. Some people look at this and get very scared of, oh my God, there's so much maintenance. There really isn't. Once you get the hang of these machines, yes, little things break, but that's typical of every single machine that you use for business. Everything breaks, but if you know how to fix it, or you know exactly what it is, over the years of trial and error, I figured out every single moving part on this machine, so I know exactly when something happens, I know what it is, and I have it in stock at all times. Here's the 2 hydraulic transmissions. I have replaced this one at the beginning of this spring, so it got roughly 1,400 hours out of the right one, which isn't too bad. I replaced the left one. I think it went around 1,000 hours, which I was wishing to get more than that, but I mean, it is what it is. I turn a lot, and I use this every single day, so battery's a little bit tricky to change, but it's not the end of the world. Here's the blower fan. This is the one that everyone complains the most about for replacement, or if you suck something up. I see in the comments people wanting to cut large fields with this. That's not what this mower is for. That's for your stand-up mowers, your sit-down zero-turn mowers. This is for bagging the grass. So if you're going to be running up sticks, you're going to break the shear pins on the blades, which I'll show you when I flip the deck up. But if it doesn't break the shear pins, it's going to come up this plastic chute, and it's going to hit the impeller fan. And before it gets up into the hopper, it's going to screw that up. I've learned that the hard way, and I've actually had to charge a couple customers to replace that because they left dog bones outside, they left sticks outside. Some people in the fall try to think if they help by raking stuff in the piles, it helps or whatever, but I have sucked up a golf ball, a baseball from their kids in the long grass, which that was on them because everything's supposed to be cleared off the property. But anyway, you can technically lift the whole machine up and drop the blower fan out, but I've had this motor out 2 or 3 times already because that broke twice. Like I said, not my fault, at customers' houses where there's objects in the field. And I've had this motor out this past winter to replace the starter, which you also, some people say you don't have to take this engine out, but start to finish I can have this engine out in less than 15 minutes. All you need is a 3/4 inch wrench for the nuts underneath, a 5/16 for the throttle cable, and just the plumbing and the belts and whatnot. But that's kind of it underneath.
How many batteries have you gone through?
I think this is my 2nd battery.
Okay.
But I mean, that's where the starter went, and I replaced the battery with the starter. So that's pretty much it under here. I mean, there's a bunch of grease fittings, but people say to grease them every 8 hours. No one has time for that. You're working, it's hot, you come home, you want to enjoy the weekend. I try to grease it maybe twice a month or maybe every 3 weeks, but here we are at 1,500 hours, and I really have gotten pretty lucky with what I've done to this. And people say change your oil once a month, change your oil every 250 hours. I've done this once a year, so roughly, say I've had it for 5 years, there's 1,500 hours. I put about 300 hours on it a year because the hours are dispersed among the other mowers and equipment and blowers and whatnot for the fall leaves cleanups. But say I did it every 300 hours and it still runs great, it's at 1,500 hours. So I'm very impressed with the engine on this. So it kind of folds up, it's all easy access. And then here's the hopper. It's filled with grass right now, but there's a screen up in here that you can switch out and put one for a bigger the screen with bigger holes. So when you are mowing thick grass, it breathes better. It stands the grass up better with the vacuum in here. And then for cleanups and whatnot, you put the screen in with the smaller holes so you don't recycle any grass out the back, because you'll be picking up all the leaves.
You want to talk about the gearboxes?
Yeah, I think the last thing to show you guys is the mower deck. Up top you have your gearboxes, which they used to be aluminum in the older ones, but the newer ones are cast iron, right?
I think so.
Drive shaft, I mean, everywhere there's a moving part, there's a grease fitting. So there's grease fitting on the caster wheels here, on the wheels themselves, on the drive shaft, on the U-joints, on the pins to use to flip the mower deck up. 1,500 hours, and this is the second set of tires, so that's not too bad either. I like to keep my stuff in good shape. I'm not out here power washing every week because I just don't have time, but this is what a dirty 1,500 hour 5-year-old Walker mower looks like, and there are a lot worse out there. That the seat's all ripped up or whatever, but
how many gearboxes in the front have you gone through?
So there's 3. There's one in the center T and under this cover, and it comes this way, and you got one, and then you got one. I have hit a rock in someone's yard that was a new customer that completely broke the underneath. One of these days we can make you a video on how to reseal and replace the gearboxes, because they have to be timed properly.
And there's a we'll make the video. And there's a way to make it even more reliable. The bolts that hold the whole assembly on.
The bolts that go in are just regular old bolts that go right in. You can get grade 8 bolts, put them through with a lock nut on the outside. I've done that before, or you can just get grade 8 bolts and thread them in if you don't lose your threads, because these are
sometimes
tough to re-thread.
Yeah, they're problematic.
As you can see underneath here, this is also the original mower deck too, because I like to keep it as clean as possible, and there's no welding been done. You see some of these that are missing all the fins. This one's a little bit bent, but a little bit beat up, but there's no holes in the side. This lower piece is still intact. Most of them fall off, but as you can see, the blades are timed. One's here, so they don't hit each other. They overlap, and you get a really, really nice cut with no missed pieces in the beginning. These are not the same blades. One spins this way, and one spins this way to feed the chute that goes underneath that we showed you before. So you can't take this blade and put it over here. They're 2 separate blades. And here's the little shear pins we're talking about. It's kind of like a snowblower. If you're doing your driveway and you hit something, the shear pins will break to prevent breaking the gearboxes or going up, and the blades won't spin, just the hubs will spin. But as you can see, you don't have to lay on the ground to change your blades. If it gets clogged, make sure the thing is off. You can clean it out if the machine's off. And just change the blades simply with an impact gun or a ratchet zip. These come right off. You're not laying on your back fighting underneath it. Ground clearance isn't an issue right here. And we keep a scraper in our trailers to kind of clean the fins out, especially in the fall or when it's wet in the morning time with the morning dew. There are a lot of copies of this machine out there. There's the Exmark Navigator, and then there's the Toro Direct Collect mower, which I own that for about a year, and I switched right back to this in terms of I was trying to get away from all the greasing and all that whatnot, and we switched to the Toro, which, like I said, I think I had it for maybe a year and a half at most. That machine's heavier than this. It doesn't move as quick, and just the weight of it I thought was a negative with properties that are wet or just soft areas, and I was having a lot of problems with the belts on those things. But the frame was like, say, this thick, and the frame here is about this. But they had their pros and their cons. The other one was faster. This is obviously slower compared to the Toros you can see in videos, but it cuts amazing. It's a monster in the spring cleanups, and I pretty much only run these mowers for the leaves in the fall. So
speaking of that frame too, you can see we have an extra little piece down there. That's the only downfall of these things, being a little bit less in weight, is you can see.
Yeah, so the problem is once this fills up, it's really, really heavy, and these back split tires, if they don't have air in them, or if they are off the rim, or if those aren't properly inflated, it'll sag down, it'll put more stress on here. So we added these two, one on each side, an extra support for when you dump, and all the weight that sits on the back end.
On this side. Just an extra little brace. A lot of these things will end up cracking right here.
Right here and down in here.
Yeah, and down there.
Yep.
And from all the weight from the grass.
But overall, I think back in 2018, I think this machine was, I think it was $12,000, and here we are 5 years later, and I'm still running it to cut grass. It's paid for. The new one, this one new, is between 16 and 19,000 now for the same exact machine. And I know because I just bought another one, a fuel injected one, but we'll do a video on that one another day to show you the differences side by side. There is a little bit of updates they did to that, but just basic walker mower. They make other models where you can side discharge. You don't have the hopper, but in my opinion, if you just show the property here, pretend that on this property there's nowhere to blow the leaves in the fall, and it's a windy day and everyone's going home for the day, you can come out and backpack blow the edges out of the gardens and run around with this and pick the leaves up, and you can still be working while it's windy out. That's one of the biggest like positives of this. So anything else really? That's kind of it on this.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, well, hopefully you like the review on this.
Let us know how many hours are on your machine too if you have a walker.
Let us know if you don't have a walker mower, what are you guys running, and how long are you expected to get engine wise, transmission wise out of your mower before you trade it in? Or if you're using a used machine, how do you like it, or what are you running? Let us know in the comments.
All right, so if you guys would want to see more machine reviews or more projects that we do, go down there, hit that subscribe button for more landscape content and hardscaping projects, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.